Knowledge is power. Make an impact by learning more. Call us right now for more help at 866-945-8070. Let's talk about dashboards. What's your dashboard in your car really do for you? It gives you information at a glance without overwhelming you that you need that's really important. And then when the car is stopped, you can look deeper at things, right? But what does it really tell you at a very quick and high level? It tells you how fast you're going, tells you how much gas is in the tank, and then we have some indicator lights that light up to let you know if anything is wrong. So when it comes to financial dashboards, I think it should work the same way. And that's one of the reasons I've actually fallen in love with a new product this year called Billbeez, because Billbeez actually does that. It gives you a dashboard focusing on your expenses. You can also analyze the revenues, but the primary focus is on the expenses because that's where it seems a lot of businesses, small business owners, have the hardest time grasping things, right? A lot of times the problem is based on overspending and not really understanding where the money is being spent, how the money is being spent. Billbeez gives us the infrastructure for how to do that. And if you're the bookkeeper or accountant and you're cleaning up the books and you've got your client using Billbeez and using it the right way, then you're going to see, as I'm going to show you in this screencast here, exactly how Billbeez is going to help make it really easy to research the expenses and see what's going on and analyze copies of the bills and receipts so you can make sure everything's going to the right place where it should be going. So stay tuned, take a look. We're going to show you what this looks like next. What accountants want and how Billbeez can help. First of all, here are the rules. When you set up Billbeez, you have to connect it to QuickBooks Online immediately. That's the point of doing this, is so that we can easily integrate data between the two. It has a bidirectional sync. Second, all receipts and bills now must be forwarded to your Billbeez email address. This is the key to making this work. Okay, now let's talk about the analysis. A lot of accountants and bookkeepers that I talk to, and based on what I see posted online on a daily basis, are desperately looking for something that will do the following. Give their clients something to look at that helps them understand what's going on with their finances without having to teach them all about how to read financial statements, right? Some clients are better than others. Some clients may have a background in something that's closely related enough that they're going to have some familiarity with the accounting reports. But the bottom line is, we as a whole, from what I have gathered, talking to people, reading, just researching in general, we want a solution that we can present to our clients where a client can log in and see something like what you're seeing on your screen right now. We want to be able to see our expenses at a glance. When things go wrong, it's often because the clients don't have a handle on their expenses. And as you can see, and in a glance, we can see very quickly what the expenses are for the period, and we can drop this down and change that. And we get a pretty good analysis here of what's going on with the expenses. And then further down, we can start to see some of the recent bills and receipts that have come in. Now, I've done videos on this product before, so I'm not going to repeat some of the things I've already covered. My focus here is on a few things. First of all, again, when Billbeez syncs to QBO, it has a bidirectional sync. So it'll pull data from QBO as well as push data to QBO, QuickBooks Online. And when it does, what it's able to do then is compile all this kind of information for you. So this is complete. This is the whole picture, right? Now, how many times do we send clients reports and they come back and say something doesn't look right? Right? Well, having a tool like Billbeez here at your disposal is going to make it really easy to explore that, to look into it and find out. If they don't think something looks right, in my experience, usually means something actually doesn't look right. And they're often right. Their insights are usually spot on because they know their business really well, right? So when Billbeez syncs to QBO, it has smart OCR, right? Which means that it's able to read what's on those receipts. And it can tell what's been paid and what hasn't. So when I start forwarding my bills and receipts to Billbeez, it's going to see if something's not been paid, it's going to push in as a bill to be paid in QuickBooks Online. If it sees that it's already been paid, it'll push it in as a payment out of an undefined Billbeez bank account, right? And then you have to go in and just go through whatever's landed in that undefined account and change it, recode it as to which account it was paid out of, whether it was paid out of your bank account because it was a debit card transaction or a credit card account. Now, that's not going to hold true for much longer. There's already an update coming out soon enough where Billbeez is going to analyze the way things have been paid in the past. And if you have two payments to the same payee paid from the same source, it's going to assume that it's being paid from that source all the time. And you can always change this, of course, going forward. So the intelligence of this product is getting smarter and smarter to make your life easier and easier. Now, also, Billbeez sends smart alerts when things don't look right. So, for example, if it sees a duplicate, you'll get an email. If it sees something that looks like a duplicate, alerting your attention to the fact and giving you an opportunity, of course, to make any corrections that need to be made. Also, if there's something missing that you normally pay every month, it will flag for that and send you alerts to that effect. And you're getting more and more of this kind of intelligence out of Billbeez where it's sending you the alerts. Right? Meanwhile, here's how nice it is when you do need to research something like uncategorized expenses. Because aside from the source account, when Billbeez doesn't know how to code something based on, what the history is, it will code it to what's called an undefined Billbeez account, which is essentially the same thing as uncategorized expenses. So when I run this profit and loss and click on the total for this undefined Billbeez for this one client here, the first thing that comes up is something called always. Now, if you're like me, then you're going to want to research all of the always payments that are uncategorized at one time. So let's customize this report. I'll go into the filter. We'll filter it on name. I'll choose all-ways. Select that and run the report. Right, so now I have a report that just shows me all the always stuff, so I can quickly focus on that and get that recoded. Why is that important? Because now I can go into Billbeez and search all-ways, and because we've been forwarding everything in, we can rely on the fact that all the receipts are here. Now, once Billbeez finishes indexing all of the stuff it can find from always, we're going to click this button that says Go to Reports. You're going to see that we can click on the attachments to open up the receipts right from here, but you're also going to see in a second why I just go straight to the reports part. So by clicking Go to Reports from that screen, it's running a report on all of the always stuff. Now, the next thing I might want to do is I can click on these paper clips to open up the actual receipt attachments. Now, if I was just sending one to the client, then I might do that. But the beauty of this is I have one permanent location online where I can grab that URL, drop it into an email, send it to the client. The client opens it up. They're looking at the same thing. I'm not sending attachments back and forth. Right? And I can get the client's feedback. But let's say I want to get the client's feedback on all of these. Same as you saw in the recent video I did on why Billbeez makes your life easier in an audit. Same exact process here. I'm going to select all of these receipts, but watch this. I'm going to show you something I did not show you in that video in terms of what my process is for something like this. So we're going to export this to Excel. We're going to choose selected bills or receipts because you could just tell it export every single receipt from always. Right, so I did selected, and we're going to download that to my desktop. Meanwhile, I'm going to bring up my Billbeez Google Drive folder, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that download, and I'm going to drop it in here, and I'm going to include it here. I'm going to remove these ones, because those are going to be sort of copies of the same thing. So I drag and drop it into my Google Drive folder. Note that this is taking less than 30 seconds. Right-click, open with Google Sheets. Now I have a shared document so I don't have to email anything to the client. I share this document with the client because notice what this document has in it. It has these click to view links. So the client can click right here, but more importantly, while they're looking at it from here, they can come in here and they can make their comment, right? So they can make their comments on each of these receipts, letting them know how to properly categorize them. Once I know that they've updated this sheet, I can jump back into QuickBooks. I can click on each one of these and recode them based on what I now know about these transactions based on the client's comment to me. What an incredibly efficient way to deal with something like uncategorized expenses. My friends, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or feedback, please post them below wherever you happen to be watching this. I hope that you learned something here and had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.